The reality is when we are spending that much time thinking about our business or working in our business, we don't have the mental space to be strategic. And if there is no one in the business being strategic, there's no strategy in the business. And we are just spinning our wheels. We are not making the business better from year to year. You're listening to the Profit by Design podcast, episode 67. You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question: what has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling, the business psychologist, the author of How to Hire the Best, and your co-host on the Profit by Design podcast. Weekly, my co-host, Mike Bruno, and I bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests, who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real-life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire. Profit Designers, here we are in December 2019. This year has flown. I don't know about you, but it feels to me like it was just a few months ago that it was December 2018. I am just blown away by how fast time has been going here. And I want to invite you to join me on a strategic planning journey here on the podcast over the next 3 to 4 weeks. Mike and I have an episode lined up for you in early January around designing for profit. And before we get to that, in 2019, while we're still in 2019, I want to take you through a process of reflecting on what you have learned in 2019, what the wins and successes have been for you, and really using that to set you up for success and even more success in 2020. And remember, here on the Profit by Design podcast, we are all about what has your business done for you lately, which really ties into the larger immutable law of work supports life, not the other way around. And we want to be designing your business to support your life. So with that in mind, one of the things that I encourage you to do right off the bat is grab a notebook or a journal and use that to capture your insights. I am amazed since I've been journaling with my colleague, Donna Lyons. She and I use an accountability check-in every week, and we share what we've done to move our businesses forward from week to week. What systems have we put in place? How have we created value and made our businesses stronger from week to week? We've been doing this now for over 2 years, and when we step back and reflect on where our businesses were 2 years ago or even a year ago, I personally am amazed that in the day-to-day, sometimes I feel like, boy, I'm not making much progress. This is really slow. I'm impatient. But when I look back a year ago and I see where things are now compared to where they were a year ago, the progress has been tremendous. And I know the same goes on for you, especially if you are an action taker. If you're not just listening to the Profit by Design podcast, but you're taking action on what you're learning, I really invite you to make a habit of every week reflecting on what did I do this week to make my business better. And I have some tools that I want to share with you that would support this process. So first off, at Tap the Potential, we've created an assessment to help you assess key areas of your business that you want to be putting in place to turn your business into that highly profitable, great place to work that will allow you to have more freedom in your life and do things like take a 4-week vacation or just pursue other interests away from the business that are interesting to you that you never seem to get the time to get around to. So with that in mind, you could go over to tapthepotential.com/assessment and take that assessment right now and look at what systems you have strongly in place and what are the systems that you need more work on, that need more attention in 2020 to make your business stronger. So use that as a tool for yourself as you do strategic planning. The other thing that I want to share with you as a tool to support you in this is the pumpkin planner. I love my pumpkin planner. I have been using it for a couple of years now, and it really encourages me to think high level about my goals and from week to week, break down what I am doing in the business to serve our top clients better and better, as well as our top team members, how we are building employee engagement and driving the team development. So the Pumpkin Planner is another tool. If you have a Pumpkin Planner from 2019, I encourage you to get that out as we go through the strategic planning series here, because you'll be able to look in your planner and see from week to week what you actually did that added value in the business. If you want a pumpkin planner for 2020, you can go to tapthepotential.com/planner. We have the 2020 pumpkin planner available for you. That's at tapthepotential.com/planner. So grab a journal, grab a notebook, grab a pen, and write down your responses to the questions that I'm going to be taking you through. This episode might be one that you want to listen to several times to help you really reflect on the different questions and take the time for yourself to hand write your responses. Now, I know it's really tempting to just get out your laptop and start typing away, and that's good enough. But if you really want to get the full value out of this exercise, taking the time to handwrite your responses is pretty powerful. As a psychologist, I'm fascinated by the research on journaling. And when we journal, we slow down our thinking. And when we handwrite, we slow down our thinking even more. And it is the spaces in between our thoughts where new insights and aha moments come from. And what really concerns me about small business owners is that we don't have enough time to slow down and really think about things and be strategic. So this is your formal invitation from Dr. Sabrina. Get out a notebook, get out your journal, get out your pen, and let's get strategic and let's slow down our thinking and create the space for aha moments to be happening. So the very first thing that I want you to pay attention to is all the wins and successes you had in your business in 2019. What did you actually accomplish? What valuable systems did you put in place that moved your business forward? Stopping to celebrate and acknowledge wins and successes is very important because in small business, we are dealing with challenges all the time. And our natural mindset is to get frustrated that we're not moving forward at the pace that we want to move forward. And most of us are very impatient and we feel like we should be way over here and yet we're still back here and we get frustrated with ourselves. So slowing down and paying attention to, well, what did I actually accomplish over the last year has a very significant impact. And I think you'll really surprise yourself. So here are some questions to help you start to own the wins and successes that you had in 2019. First question, how did you improve the profitability of your business this year? Notice I'm not asking you about revenue. How much revenue did you add to the top line? I'm asking you, how did you improve the profitability in your business? On the Profit by Design podcast, we are all about growing profitability, and we've had lots of episodes and guests who have really spoken to it's not about how much we make, it's about how much we keep. And at Tap the Potential, a lot of times as we have new clients coming in, we are having to help them right size the business. And by right size, I mean sometimes we're taking a step back and actually lowering revenue on purpose to get the business to be more profitable. So you, the owner, have more money coming out of the business and more reward for your entrepreneurial effort. There is no value in working harder to grow top line revenue of the business if you are not able to keep more of it. So, how did you improve the profitability in your business? Did you implement Profit First this year? If you did implement it, have you moved closer to your target allocation percentages? Have you increased the percentage of profit that you're setting aside? Did you increase your owner's pay? A lot of our clients at Tap the Potential have done that this year, and it is so fun to see that and acknowledge it and celebrate that. Now, my second question is, did you increase the revenue in your business this year? If you did, celebrate that. And did you improve your service delivery, particularly with respect to your top clients and customers? So here's a little bit of a pumpkin planning secret. We can be more effective with our limited amount of time and energy when we are focusing on increasing and improving service delivery to our top clients and customers, rather than trying to improve service delivery to all clients and customers. Another question, what did you do with respect to your hiring? Did you fire anybody this year? Did you release any team members who were not a good fit and help them find opportunities elsewhere? Did you make the tough decision to let an employee or several employees go who were not healthy for your company culture? Celebrate that. It takes courage to do that, and it's very important to acknowledge that that is a huge step forward to creating a great place to work and making a healthy culture for your remaining A-player team members. Another question, did you hire some A players? If so, celebrate that. And did you improve your systems for attracting and hiring A players? I know a lot of you have been following me as I've released How to Hire the Best, the contractor's ultimate guide to attracting top performing employees. And many of you have been paying attention to improving and putting in place an actual system for attracting A players. Do you know what's so interesting to me? As we bring on new clients at Tap the Potential, we ask them about various systems that they have in place in their business. One system that is consistently missing, even from businesses that are doing millions and millions in top line revenue, is a system for attracting A players to the business. Isn't that amazing? That is one area that sucks up so much of our time. And so if you have been moving towards creating a system for attracting A players in your business, your A player attraction system, and you've been putting that in place, even if it's just the skeletal system for attracting A players, acknowledge that for yourself, because you're doing something that not many businesses do. Another area to look at is, did you improve your team? And did you do anything to help your employees grow and support them in their personal development? At Tap the Potential, we have a lot of clients who have put team members through leadership boot camp, coach approach, leadership mastermind, and their team members are saying to us how much they appreciate the ability to grow, not just as leaders for the business, but also to grow as themselves as human beings. So if you have done team development activities, if you have put your team members through training to help them grow in their leadership, acknowledge that, because you are building a much stronger team. Along those same lines, look at what you did for yourself. Did you do anything to increase your emotional intelligence this year as a leader? This is huge. At Tap the Potential, in our exclusive small group coaching program, we support you as a business owner in not just being more strategic in putting profit first in place and pumpkin planning and growing your team, but how you grow as a leader, because that's going to have the greatest impact on your business and the team members that you are attracting to your business. So when we stop growing ourselves and we stop working on ourselves as leaders, our businesses will stop growing. They stagnate. And emotional intelligence in particular is an area where many small business owners just stop growing. We really try to work on increasing revenue and we want to hire some people, but when we stop looking at ourselves, that's when things get really dangerous. So what have you done in the past year to improve your emotional intelligence? What have you done in the last year to identify and work on your blind spots? Own those wins and successes, because that is huge. So a lot of our business owners at Tap the Potential have done Coach Approach, which is another way of building emotional intelligence. Also, we've offered training with 34 Strong, the Leading Your Organization from Strengths training, and we've had some of our business owners take part in that, in addition to what they're doing in the exclusive small group program with us at Tap the Potential. Those opportunities are huge for growing yourself as a person. Another area to consider is, what did you do to make your marketing more effective and more efficient? How did you make better use of your marketing dollars? From a profit first perspective, one of the things that's really interesting to me is when we start business owners on profit first, a lot of times we're just looking at how can we cut expenses for you? How can we get you closer and closer to increasing your owner's pay and your profit target allocation percentages from profit first? And we can do a little bit of that just by cutting expenses. And we usually do that in the first quarter or two. But it's in the second and third and fourth quarters where it becomes harder and harder to move the needle on increasing owner's pay and increasing profit, unless we get very strategic and start the pumpkin planning in the business. And when we're pumpkin planning, we're identifying who are our top clients and customers, and how can we use our resources more efficiently with that perspective of the top clients and customers in mind. So we can find more ways to cut expenses in the business once we've identified top clients and customers, because we can cut expenses that do not support or serve top clients and customers, which is really interesting, because one area that I see where we waste a lot of money in the business is we get clients and customers who are less than ideal for us. In pumpkin plan language, we call them mushy pumpkins. We get these mushy pumpkins on our vines. And instead of just being strategic about getting rid of those mushy pumpkins, we hire team members to serve those mushy pumpkins, which payroll is the biggest expense in a business. So that's one area where we can get more effective with the use of our limited resources, the money in the business, by identifying who are our top clients and customers and making sure that our A-player team members are focused around serving those top clients and customers. And then we can start looking at who are our team members who are not A-players, whose immutable laws are not a good fit with the company's immutable laws. And can any of those folks be let go? And can any of those less than ideal clients and customers be let go? And when we do that, are we recapturing resources that we can deploy more effectively elsewhere in the business? So if you have done any of that kind of strategic thinking in your business this year, acknowledge that for yourself. That is a win and success to celebrate for sure. But the other part of that is looking at marketing dollars and making sure that our marketing strategy and the money that we are putting to marketing is focused on attracting top clients and customers. There's all kinds of things that we can be doing from a marketing standpoint, and a lot of it shows no return on investment. So if you want to see a return on investment in your marketing, make sure you're focusing around your top clients and customers. If you have done that this year, acknowledge that as a win and success for yourself as well. And last but not least, have you taken more time off in 2019 than you have in the past? Did you take any time off in 2019? If you did, acknowledge that for yourself. Have you been able to reduce the number of hours you've been working from week to week? If you've been implementing what I've been teaching you here on the Profit by Design podcast, I sure hope you have created more space for your life in 2019 than you've had in previous years. At Tap the Potential, when we have new business owners starting up with us, one of the questions I'll ask is about how many hours a week are you working in your business? And that's an interesting question, not so much the question itself that's interesting, it's the responses that I get, because usually I'll get a response along the lines of, well, do you mean hours I'm actually working or hours that I'm spending thinking about the business? And so I clarify, hours you're spending thinking about the business. That can range anywhere from 90 to over 100 something hours a week that a business owner is thinking about the business. That is a lot of life space being taken up. And at Tap the Potential, one of the goals we set pretty early on with our business owners is that they get their work week, including their mental work week, down closer to a normal work week, around the 50-hour range as an initial starting point. and then reducing from there. Because the reality is when we are spending that much time thinking about our business or working in our business, we don't have the mental space to be strategic. And if there is no one in the business being strategic, there's no strategy in the business, and we are just spinning our wheels. We are not making the business better from year to year. So I've taken you through this process now to identify your wins and successes in the business. The next thing I want to look at with you is what have you already put in place that you want to do more of or more with in 2020. And here's what I'm getting at. I don't know if you're anything like me, but I really do have bright, shiny object syndrome. I love things that are new, and I'm always looking at what else could we add that would make Tap the Potential better. But in reality, that has left me at times with a lot of undone projects at Tap the Potential, things that are partially put in place, but never really seen to the finish line. And so at the end of the year, it's important to look at what are the projects and things that we've put in place that are almost done, but not quite there. What do we need to complete? So look for yourself. What is going on in your business that is almost completed but needs to be polished, or it needs to be honed and refined just a little bit to make it work more effectively? Identify those things, and then also identify the things that you've put in place this year that are working exceptionally well. Draw a big circle around those things and star them. Those are the things that, as we look at 2020, you really want to be paying attention to, because those are things you can leverage more, and especially when it comes to serving your top clients and customers more effectively. So those are things that you want to be intentional about, not just carrying forward into 2020, but also looking at, well, how can I leverage this more in 2020? And another thing that's really important to look at and identify are the things that we've put in place that are not working so well, or that did not bring the results that we were looking for, and consider cutting those things, because that's where a lot of profit can get sucked right out of a business. And I like to give our clients at Tap the Potential what we call the 4-question survey, and we use that for our strategic planning purposes at Tap the Potential. One of those questions is, what could we stop doing? And that gives us information about anything that we're providing that's just not helpful for our clients. So consider that for yourself. What could you stop doing in 2020? Along these same lines, think about the lessons you have learned as you conducted business in 2019. What insights did you have that you can take forward and build on? Look at what were the breakdowns? What were the things that did not go well? Especially if you've been doing any vacation tests, those are opportunities for huge insight. And I'll give you an example of what I mean. In 2018, I took a 4-week vacation last December, and I was not able to start my 4-week vacation. I was a week late in starting it almost, because we had things that needed to get out the door from a marketing standpoint. We had things that needed to be in our newsletter, and that was not set up because all of that was resting on me. So just feeling the pain of starting my 4-week vacation a week late caused me in 2019 to be much more intentional around hiring marketing support. We have a much stronger marketing team in place in 2019. I'm proud to say I was able to leave the marketing in very good hands for the 4-week vacation this year as compared to last year. So that's an example of where there was a significant breakdown, and it pointed to me that I was carrying too much of the marketing load on my own shoulders, that the business needed more marketing support besides just me doing it, and I was able to take steps to correct it. So look for yourself. Where were the breakdowns? If you took vacation tests, what didn't go well while you were on those vacations, and what did you put in place to improve that for next time around? And if you haven't put anything in place yet, consider that for your strategic planning in 2020, because that's definitely a mission critical area. Now, with respect to the question of what are you going to stop doing, I really want to encourage you to use the top client assessment to figure this out. And so in pumpkin planning, we take you through a process of identifying your top clients. It starts with the 80-20 analysis on the business. So here on the podcast, I can't take you through the entire top client assessment, but I can get you started with it and give you some information to help you with your strategic planning. So when it comes to things that we're going to stop doing in our business, we want to make sure that we are not impacting our top clients and customers in any way with the things that we stop doing. So we need to know who those top clients and customers are when we're making decisions about what we will not carry forward into 2020. So one place to start with identifying top clients and customers is just do it strictly from a revenue perspective in the business. And that means using the 80-20 analysis to identify those 20% of your clients and customers that are responsible for 80% of the revenue. And the easiest way to do that is to just look at 24 months worth of data and figure out what 24 months of revenue was for your business. Calculate what 80% of that amount is, and then list out your clients and customers by amount that they have spent with you, by total sales. So the client or customer who has spent the most with you in the last 24 months is going to be at the top of the list, and the client or customer who has spent the least with you will be at the bottom of the list. So you list them in descending order. And all you do is you just get to the top of your list and you start adding the sales. And when you get to the point that you've hit 80% of the total revenue for 24 months, draw a line. The clients and customers who are above the line are probably going to be about 20% of your clients and customers. But even if it's not exactly 20%, you know that those clients and customers above that line are responsible for 80% of the revenue of the business. So as you look at what you're going to cut in 2020, make sure it's not impacting those clients and customers who are above the line. Now, I will say, from a pumpkin planning perspective, just doing that kind of analysis is not going to be enough, because we all know we can have clients and customers who spend a lot of money in our business and they make us cringe. So there are definitely other factors to consider beyond just how much someone spends with us in determining if they're a top client and customer. But this will give you a starting point for making your decisions about what you're going to cut in 2020. And in terms of simplifying our businesses, paying attention to what we cut goes a long way to creating more simpler businesses. Remember, complexity is the enemy of profit. Complexity is the enemy of a 4-week vacation. The more we can simplify what we are doing, the better off we are all going to be. Okay, so at this point, you have done some pretty deep thinking about your business in 2019, and I invite you to put aside what you've written and come back in a day or so and read through it. See what insights and aha moments you have as you reflect on the wins and successes from 2019, the things that you're not going to do in 2020, the things that you've learned, the breakdowns that happened, the challenges, what you learned as you overcame those challenges. Spend some time just reflecting on that. And then in next week's episode, I'm going to take you through a process of designing 2020 for yourself. And as we go out, I really encourage you to take advantage of our Profit Designer community that we have on Facebook to share your insights and ahas as you've reflected on 2019. When we share with other entrepreneurs who are working in a similar direction, we can learn a lot from each other. And I am all about building more community for us entrepreneurs. You have that opportunity here on the Profit by Design podcast. We have some very thoughtful and reflective entrepreneurs in our Profit Designer community. So pop into the Facebook group and share what ahas you've had as you've been going through this process. Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Profit by Design podcast Facebook group. Share your thoughts on today's episode, ask us questions, and let us know what you want to hear about next. Visit our website at profitbydesignpodcast.com to access resources from our sponsors and tools we've created for you. Subscribe to the show on whatever platform you're listening to right now. There's a subscribe button right there. Go ahead and hit it so that you always get a notification when we release a new episode. And finally, share our podcast with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. Thanks again for listening. This is real life business. Keep your chin up. Keep moving forward. You got this.